Hello there, welcome to this video on hunting small game in the Hunter Call of the Wild. I wanted to put something together on how to go about hunting the small game that's available in both the European park and the American park, because it isn't apparent on how to go about doing that, and it does require a slower, more practiced approach in how to go about hunting the smaller animals that are available in both parks. As well as being much smaller, the fox and the coyote have very different behavioural patterns, and that makes hunting them a much more difficult task unless you know how to go about doing it. One of the key factors in hunting the smaller animals is their awareness factor. As soon as you hear that telltale bark from either the coyote or the fox, is to drop down so as not to alert them any more than you already have to your presence. Before returning to the actual hunt, let's consider some of the environmental factors. Dense foliage, as seen in this example here, would make hunting a small creature a very difficult prospect. So whether by choice or by necessity for one of the in-game missions, make sure when hunting some of the smaller creatures within the Hunter Call of the Wild, you choose the environment that actually suits your purposes. In contrast to the last clip, as you can see here, this environment is more conducive to actually hunting the smaller game. The grass isn't so long, the foliage isn't quite so heavy, and there's much longer lines of sight in order for me to be able to line up a kill shot as and when I'm able to achieve one. Now onto some of the behavioural factors you're going to need to take into consideration. In order to attract the interest of a coyote or a red fox, you are able to purchase a predator jackrabbit caller from the in-game store for 6,000 credits. This caller is supposed to mimic the distress tones of a jackrabbit and should be enough to pique their interest. And this is the key behavioural pattern that you must remember when hunting the smaller game in the Hunter Call of the Wild as opposed to hunting the larger beasts. Unlike the larger animals, who will almost blindly return to see whatever the commotion is when using their particular lure, the jackrabbit caller for a coyote or fox induces a heightened hunt mode where they become naturally more cautious. In this heightened state, the coyote or the fox will naturally be interested in what amounts to a free meal, but will also be extremely cautious in looking for other predators. What's crucial for the hunter is to stay low, try not to move around so much, find somewhere where there is some cover so you can't be easily spotted yourself, and yet you still have long lines of sight in order to make your shot. And it should go without saying that you also take the wind factor into account so that your scent doesn't give you away so easily. It's also worthwhile using the jackrabbit caller every 20 to 30 seconds or so, just to remind the smaller game that you are still around and that they still have a free meal available, otherwise they do have a tendency to wander away. A key factor to take into account is the coyote or fox's behaviour when returning to the scene of what they think is a distressed jackrabbit. Like a house cat hunting a mouse or a bird, the coyote or fox will look to get in behind the animal that they think they are hunting. So look for them not from the direction that you last saw them, but to initiate a flanking maneuver from the left or the right. So why go to all this trouble to hunt the small game? The simple answer is money. In this game, taking down a coyote or a fox is worth 1200 in-game credits, whereas a deer, 600 or less. There is also an in-game mission which requires you to take down a fox with a bow and arrow. Using these tactics you can eventually accomplish that, although it is significantly more difficult than a rifle shot. This is TG the Punisher, checking out.